Good morning, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living's first Facebook Live streaming session. We're so glad that you joined us here today. And if you would, go onto your Facebook screen and share and click on like so that many other people can share this experience as well. We would appreciate that. So once again, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. So, change is afoot. That was the title of yesterday's daily reading in the Science of Mind magazine, and it couldn't be more apropos. It feels like change is constantly in the air these days. Things change before we can keep up with what's happened just the moment before. And it may feel negative, but this is actually an opportunity for us to do things differently and change the old paradigm of get everything you can before someone else does and switch to a world that works for everyone, which is the theme of the Centers for Spiritual Living International. It's an opportunity to experience the interconnectedness and unity that exists behind the mistaken belief in separation, lack, and limitation. I'm looking forward to the good that's being revealed as all humanity discovers its inherent love and compassion for one another. And isn't that something that you're interested in experiencing as well? Well, my name is Jim Grove, and I am a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Sarasota. And as we do every Sunday, I greet you with Namaste. Namaste is ancient Sanskrit, and it stands for the divinity within me recognizes and greets the divinity within each and every one of you. And also, what we do every Sunday morning is we read our declaration about what we are as a center. And I would like to continue that practice. And so those of you who know it by heart can recite it along with me, and I will read it for all others that don't know it by heart. So we are a spiritual center that honors all paths to God. Ours is a positive message inspiring our possibilities and offering spiritual tools for transforming our lives and helping to make the world a better place. Here we can find peace of mind, belonging to a spiritual home, and a personal relationship with the God of our understanding. We are here to discover what we already know. So things are a little bit different for us here this morning. There's just a few of us making this happen, and we certainly appreciate all of them. Ron and Fawny Frost, Bob Teasdale, Kathleen Frankert, and our own dear Reverend Karen for speaking to us this morning with some encouraging words. So I just have a few announcements, though, before we move into our time of meditation. And first of all, the Spiritual Living Circle for this coming Wednesday night, we are still trying to work out the logistics for a Zoom conference. So I will be sending out an email to everyone who is participating in the Spiritual Living Circle beforehand and letting them know if we're going to have it and how to get on Zoom so that you can participate as well. Also, prayer support. Prayer support is very important at this time in our lives. And our practitioners and Reverend Karen are here to support you in all of your needs, whether you're just afraid or concerned about someone else or the entire world. You can go to our website and click on the prayer request button and submit your prayer request there and know that you will be kept in positive affirmative prayer for the coming week. And it's our honor to do that for you. And also, we're here for you. If you need help of any kind, like you're stuck at your house and you need groceries and there's no way for you to get out, if you'll call the center's number, we will try to get over to you and help you. And also in the newsletter, there was a contact number for Kathleen Frankert, and she's heading that effort up. Also, Inspired Cinema, as it was announced in the newsletter, is going to be postponed until further notice because we can't have gatherings of more than 10 people right now. So Jaron Nelson was the initiator of that and the creator of that, and we are so grateful to her for that, and we look forward to joining together again for those wonderful evenings. So, and now, we are about to move into our time of prayer and meditation, and Bob is going to lead us in a chant as he does every Sunday. And so, Bob. There is one infinite, loving presence, which is life itself, expressing in, through, and as the entire universe. It is whole, perfect, and complete in and of itself, and has endowed its creation with an intelligence, collectively and individually, that continually moves toward the manifestation of wholeness. This intelligence is inherent in the human body, as it automatically springs into action to correct any appearance of disorder, disease, or malfunction. And it is inherent in the soul of humankind, as it takes action through awakened minds, knowing and declaring the spiritual truth of wholeness behind every false appearance to the contrary. I am a creation of the one life, expressing itself through me, as me. I can never be separate from it, and the love which selflessly and continually flows from it. Awake to this truth, I allow it to guide and comfort my mind as I view the current physical condition of illness known as coronavirus, here and around the world. I know that this condition is the result of fear and a belief in disease, pain, and suffering, that we are somehow separate from God and each other. Although the images are shocking and there would seem to be no end in sight, I know that this is not the truth of who and what I am at the center of my being, nor is it the truth of anyone else. The truth is that we are all individual manifestations of the divine, and we all have the intelligence within, available at any moment for complete healing of the erroneous beliefs that have caused this disharmony. I am guided into loving and caring acts that are in alignment with the spiritual truth that there is a divine pattern of wholeness back of all appearances, waiting to be revealed by our recognition of it. I allow this truth to dissolve all thoughts of illness in my mind and replace them with life-affirming thoughts of vitality, vibrant health and wholeness, unity, love, and compassion. As I know this for myself, it is immediately known in the mind of God and positively affects the individual and collective thought of all other human beings. Gratitude wells up within me for the healing that now occurs in my mind, which ripples out into my own community, the United States, and the entire world. I now release my word into the law of mind with complete conviction and faith that it does not return to me void, but has been received and is even now being made manifest with grace and ease. In full expectancy, I declare it so, and so it is.
Beautiful thought. Surrender, not giving up, not resigning ourselves to anything horrible, but surrendering our fear and surrendering our worry and our projection. Knowing that when we do this, the arms of love, the arms of spirit, the arms of God, the arms of the One are there for us. So good morning. Thank you for joining us in this adventure, in this experiment. If I may, since you can see me but I can't see you, I get to conjure up in my mind just what you might be looking like right now. And I see some interesting bathrobes, bunny slippers, interesting coffee mugs. I wish I had one of those coffee mugs with you, but that'll be later. Anyway, I'm so glad you're with us and comfortable and relaxing in your home and in your environment, and that you decided to spend this little bit of time with us. I want to express my thanks to Jim Grove, one of our 3 licensed practitioners who did open for us, and also I want to acknowledge that we have 2 others, Kathleen Frankert and Jaron Nelson. I want you to know, too, that whether you are now a part of our immediate Center for Spiritual Living Sarasota community, or if you are a visitor, someone who's just discovered us, you're all very precious to us, and your well-being is of utmost importance to us. So know this, that while our doors are closed, our hearts are wide open for you. And the good news is, as I think you're discovering too, social distancing in no way means social isolation. It doesn't have to. And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling, even in this last week, this incredible, thanks to the internet, sense of increased felt sense of community from all of us now in our homes and taking care of ourselves. And yet, we can see our friends, we're reaching out to one another. And so don't despair. There's a sense of community that is just rising up. It's always been there, and now we're tapping into it. Public gatherings have been canceled. Most group meetings have been canceled, but conversations are not canceled. Friendship is not canceled. Gardening is not canceled. Watching the moonlight filter through the leaves of the tree, that's not canceled. Love is not canceled. Laughter is not canceled. I'm putting an asterisk by that. Please laugh. Laugh often. Music is not canceled. Reading is not canceled. Prayer is not canceled. And most importantly, lifting one another's spirits will not be canceled. so we can still maintain community while being apart. And we can bring a whole new meaning to going viral by being contagious in sharing our prayers, our loving thoughts, and our acts of kindness. By staying connected, we can phone, email, and even send notes of encouragement, perhaps to people we haven't been in touch with for a long time. Now I know there is a temptation to succumb to fear, especially amidst all the media reports. Constant. And by the way, I want to underscore that being careful, using good sense, that's not fear. That is loving. In fact, I like what someone said. They said, sometimes love just looks like washing your hands. Remember what the Sufi poet Hafiz said so wisely. Fear is the cheapest seat in the house. Fear is the cheapest seat in the house. So when the energy of fear is clamoring for your attention, I have two things for you to consider today. And these are things that you can do starting right now, and you may have already been doing them. I want to encourage you and applaud you if you have. But it's so wonderful because these are things that we have within us, the capability we have, things we can do when we are feeling so inundated and tempted to be caught up in fear and what if and projection. Remember, where your thought goes, energy flows. Where thought goes, where attention goes, creative energy flows. And so as you listen to these ideas I'm going to share with you today, these suggestions, these reminders, just know that they start in your thought, your attitudes, and that makes a difference. We can make a difference starting with where we put our attention. So the first thing, and this is a little bit of building on the thoughts that Jim shared about our being interconnected. The first thing is to shine your light. It's not complicated. Shine your light. And there are tangible ways now that we're shining our light, that we're seeing more and more people are doing this. And it's so uplifting and it's so encouraging, and there's more happening than we even hear about in the headlines. And here's the interesting thing, you know, it's not by chance that we always end up feeling better when we reach out to help someone else, when we shine our light in some way, whether it's a smile, a handshake, well, not a handshake these days, a virtual handshake, or doing a kind deed. Some of these examples I want to remind you of because they make me feel expanded and they uplift me every time I hear about them. And so I invite you, as you're paying attention to what all the information around you, pay attention to the good news about how people are reaching out and shining their light and truly being there for one another, because we are here in this together. There was a 15-year-old girl in California who rallied all of her fellow Honor Society students into helping her give away more than 250 low-cost sanitation kits, as she called them, to homeless shelters in the Los Angeles area. And each kit simply contained hand sanitizer, lotion, antibacterial soap, and a couple of other items to help the homeless people feel safe and be safe during this pandemic. And furthermore, she went ahead and launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise additional funds for this initiative, and in 9 days she raised $13,000. We can do things. We can shine our light. Another one that I love is a famous chef in the Washington, D.C., New York area is turning his own 5-star restaurants, several of them, into food kitchens for families who might be having trouble making ends meet and struggling at this time. And although he closed his restaurants to the general public until further notice, this celebrity chef did say that 8 of his acclaimed Washington, D.C. and New York City locations would still be serving gourmet food to out-of-work families and struggling workers. And then there's Becky Heffler, who works at Duke University. She was talking to her grandfather on the phone recently, and when he mentioned he was going out shopping for groceries, she was concerned for him because the elderly population, as we are hearing, is at most at risk for this virus. But he lived in New Jersey, and so she wasn't nearby to help him out. So that's when she got the idea. And by the way, pay attention to those ideas. That is God working through us by means of an idea which turns into an action. So she got this idea to make grocery runs for her senior neighbors in lieu of helping her grandpa. And so she's doing just that. She's putting out notices, letting anyone know that if they need her help in this way, she will make a grocery run for them. And then there are several distilleries, alcohol distilleries now, who are stepping up to our shortage of hand sanitizer. And they are using their facilities. This is in Georgia, in North Carolina, in Portland, making their own hand sanitizers to distribute, to give away for free. And they will do this as long as we need them. And this is the sweetest one. In Italy, a neighbor somehow found a way to project an old movie of Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, I think it was Top Hat, onto the wall of the apartment building. Their buildings were very close together, and this movie was showing on the apartment building wall. And on the news clip where I saw this, you could see through a window there was an older couple dancing along with Fred and Ginger. Now, if that isn't shining your light, I don't know what is. There's so many ways to revisit, to reawaken our interconnectedness. We can't escape it now. And as I said, these are just the ones that make the news, the ones I've shared with you, but there are countless creative ways in which we can truly be there for one another. I want to share with you prayer for a pandemic, because this speaks to how we think, to our attitudes. They could use a little bit of adjustment, don't you think? May we who are merely inconvenienced remember those whose lives are at stake. May we who have few risk factors remember those who are most vulnerable. And may we who have the luxury of working from home remember those who must choose between preserving their health or making their rent. And may we who have the flexibility to care for our children when their schools close remember those who have no options. May we who have to cancel our trips remember those who have no safe place to go. And may we who are losing our margin money in the tumult of the economic market remember those who have no margin at all. May we who settle in for quarantine at home remember those who have no home. As fear grips our world, let's choose love. During this time when we cannot physically wrap our arms around one another, let us find ways to be the loving embrace of God to our neighbors. Amen. So that's number one. Waking up to our in a greater way to our interconnectedness with one another, knowing that we can't escape it, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Can you imagine the implications of an awakened world really, really knowing how interconnected we are, the impact on our social and political and economic dealings, and of course on our physical well-being? And we can start right now. So the second thing is look beyond the immediate appearances and conditions to what is really happening. What is really happening here? You know, fundamental to our science of mind principles, as well as to those of all the great spiritual teachings, is this: there is more than meets the eye. There is more than meets the eye. Look beyond the appearances, look beyond the conditions to see the deeper and the greater truth. Because that truth, that which we cannot see, which is behind it all, is always, always life-affirming. And knowing that and reminding myself of that, I know that something truly transformative is happening among our global family by means of the pain of this pandemic. And the key word is transformative. I'm not suggesting that any amount of prayer, positive thinking, affirming is trying to make it go away. Yes, we think, oh, that would be wonderful if it would just vanish. But we would not have learned a thing. What's happening here is an exquisite opportunity for us to learn lessons and ways of growing and being better that we might not have learned in any other way. I want to paraphrase some wisdom from Dr. Ernest Holmes, the architect of our philosophy, and also one of our early New Thought teachers, Thomas Troward, talking about what is behind what we can see. They said, no matter how much good we experience today, and yes, we are experiencing tremendous good, even in the midst of this daunting situation. So no matter how much good we experience today, the infinite has more in store for tomorrow. So joyfully look forward to this expansion with enthusiastic anticipation. The divine, life itself, is always for expansion and fuller expression. This means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in past experience. This may seem like a dark, dark time for us. But here's the thing, as one poet wrote, I love the light, for it shows me the way, but I treasure the darkness because it shows me the brilliant light of the stars. I know you've noticed when you're out in the country, out away from the city lights, and you look up at the sky and you say, oh, I had no idea. The vast number of stars, the gorgeous, amazing heavens that we can't see. We're in the midst of the city lights. So the darkness is not the enemy. Treasure the darkness because of how it ultimately enhances the light. Let's pay attention to that. Pay attention to the light, the sparks of inspiration, of hope, of happiness that show up that you would not have noticed prior to what is going on right now. That's what I'm talking about. Sister Joan Chittister wrote about it this way. She said, there is a light in each one of us that only the darkness can illuminate. Think about that. I thought I would need more light to illuminate the light in me. No. She's saying there's a light in you and me that's only the darkness can call forth, can illuminate. And that something is infinite. This is a time when we are being pushed to tap into something inside of ourselves that we perhaps never quite realized was there. You just watch. Every day you are going to find you have inner resources, inner creativity, inner energy, inner ideas, even in between those times when you may take a deep dive into the worry and doubt and fear of the day. But pay attention to the sparks of inner resilience that are showing up in you and all those around you. That something is infinite. That is the presence of God, the one of spirit, of your higher power within each one of us, innately within each one of us. It is our source. And because it is infinite, it provides everything we need and more. But so often we drown it out by our busyness and our preoccupation with the material world in which we live. It's easy to do, so distracting. We drown it out with our fear of not enough, and we get greedy, and we figure that someone else is out to get ours. You know, we see it all around us. But it is from this inner presence that we find the strength, the comfort, the wisdom, and the guidance to navigate this challenging and unfamiliar experience we're going through. That is where to put our attention. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. That means the more we pay attention to that, the more we experience it, the more it ripples out and blesses those around us. Speaking of more than meets the eye, I'm going to share with you now an imagined letter from Corona to humans, and this is written by Kristen Flintz, and this is just a part of her letter. It was quite a long one, but it gives you another insight to realize there's more going on than meets the eye. and asking ourselves, what is really happening here? So the letter starts, and this is from the coronavirus. Stop. Just stop. It is no longer a request. It is a mandate. We will help you. We will bring your supersonic high-speed merry-go-round to a halt. We will stop the planes, the trains, the schools, the malls, the meetings, the frenetic, furied rush of illusions and obligations that keep you from hearing our single and shared heart. Our obligation is to each other, as it has always been, even though you have forgotten. We will interrupt this broadcast, the endless cacophonous broadcast of divisions and distractions, to bring you this long-breaking news. We are not well. All of us are suffering. You haven't been listening. It is hard to listen when you are so busy all the time, hustling to uphold the comforts and conveniences that scaffold your lives. But the foundation is giving way. It's buckling under the weight of your needs and your desires. We will help you. Despite what you might think or feel, we are not the enemy. We are a messenger. We are an ally. We are a balancing force. We are asking you to stop, to be still, to listen, to move beyond your individual concerns and consider the concerns of all, to find your humility, to travel deep into the mind of the heart. Many are afraid right now, but do not demonize your fear, and also do not let it rule you. Instead, let it speak to you. In your stillness, listen to its wisdom. What might it be telling you about what is at work, at issue, at risk, beyond the threats of personal inconvenience and illness? Stop. Just stop. Be still. Listen. Ask us what we might teach you about healing. Ask about what might be required so that all may be well. I'm going to repeat that. Ask about what might be required so that all may be well. We will help if you will listen. I truly believe that out of this immense global crisis will come, if we pay attention, a level of compassion, of respect, as never, ever seen before in our lifetime. It will inform our actions like we've never known before. And also, I believe that out of this immense global crisis will come, and is already coming, so much innovation, so much creativity, so much resourcefulness. This time of crisis is a time of unparalleled opportunity. Let's know and celebrate this together. And with that, I want to thank you. Thank you for sharing this time with us. I look forward to seeing you again next Sunday. And remember, we are all in this together, walking each other to the other side of this creative and transformational experience. Remember, from A Course in Miracles, if you knew who walks beside you, fear would be impossible. So in the darkness, shine your light. And Bob is going to anchor that with a song that he wrote called I Shine My Light. Namaste.
To shine my light, it's a bright new day. There's a fresh breeze blowing all the clouds away. I'm grateful for the air I breathe and for this life of mine. I'm walking in the light, here to let it shine. Now here's a brand new way. Meet with other folks like me. We shine our light together. baby. We're one in the spirit, we're never far apart. For in truth we all know that we're joined at the heart. And I'm here to shine my light, it's a bright new day. There's a fresh breeze blowing all the clouds away. I'm grateful for the air I breathe and for this life of mine. I'm walking in the light, I'm here to let it shine. Yes, here's a new way to meet with other folks like me. We shine our light together wherever we may be. We're one in the spirit, we're never far apart. For in truth we all know that we're joined at the heart. Here to shine my light, it's a bright new day. There's a fresh breeze blowing all the clouds away. I'm grateful for the air I breathe and for this life of mine. I'm walking in the light, I'm here to let it shine. I'm here to shine my light, it's a bright new day. There's a fresh breeze blowing all the clouds away. I'm grateful for the air I breathe and for this life of mine. I'm walking in the light, I'm here to let it shine. I'm walking in the light, I'm here to let it shine.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you. That was beautiful. I'm feeling bright and shiny right now just listening to you. Thank you so much again. And thank you. Thank you, Reverend Karen, for a beautiful, encouraging, and inspiring talk this morning. I'm sure everyone is uplifted by it. So now is the time in our service where we would normally collect our offering. And I'd like to continue that practice with you online and ask you to consider how you will make your offerings to the center during this time when we're not physically together. I wanted to remind you that we do have a method for that on our website where you can pay by just clicking on the icon there for PayPal. You can also send a check to our mailing address, and you can also set up automatic payment through your online banking if you have it. So those are three methods that you can keep your support, your financial support, coming to this center so we can continue to keep bringing you this message of inspiration and hope. And so with that, if you would, put your hand over your heart with your virtual offering there and just know with me that my gift goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. And the divine flow returns it to me, multiplied abundantly. And if you will state along with me, I give thanks that I may share of my good, my love, and my support. And now Bob is going to lead us in I Am So Blessed by Karen Drucker.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
And indeed, we are completely blessed by the one, the divine source of all, that loves and cares for us. And I know that these blessings of offerings, however they are received, do go forth to continue this message, this beautiful message of love and peace. I am so grateful for this. I allow it to be so, and so it is. So we've reached the end of our service, and we wish you many blessings. Stay safe, but above all, remember that there is that pattern of wholeness that exists at the center of your being. Acknowledge it, recognize it, believe it, because that is the only truth. And now Bob is going to lead us in the peace song as we close. Have a good week, everyone.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, we are family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on